officially, hi everyone. We're so happy that you could come to the back room tonight.
Hi.
We have these amazing guests, as you can see, and our audience numbers are just going up and up and up. So we're really happy that all of you, took time this evening to join us here in the back room where you get to
Or
chat.
this morning.
Yes. Oh, you're just going to be out of sync with us tonight,
Sorry.
Sally. I'm going to call it night no matter what.
Yeah, call it
It's going
night.
to get dark outside, so that's night. Yeah. So, yeah, for those who don't know me, I'm Karen Dion. I'm the USA Today #1 internationally best-selling author of 2 novels of psychological suspense that are set in Michigan's Upper Peninsula wilderness, The Marsh King's Daughter and The Wicked Sister. Both are published by G.P. Putnam in the States and in dozens of other languages. The Marsh King's Daughter got a rave review in the New York Times when it published. Yay, that's an author's kill me now moment, right? And it also released last November as a major motion picture. I believe it's available in Australia, Sally. So
Yes. Okay.
yeah, so there we are. That's me. I live in Michigan on a little lake, as I mentioned earlier. And also this summer, I'm hosting a series of writers' retreats at my home. Shameless plug, right? Now, I want to introduce our authors who have been so patiently waiting. Janie Chang writes historical fiction, often with a personal connection, and she draws from family history with 36 generations of recorded genealogy. I can't even fathom that. 36 generations? How far back does that go? To what year?
To the 1100s.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Okay. And her bio continues saying that Janie grew up listening to stories about life in a small Chinese town in the years before the Second World War and tales of ancestors who encountered dragons, ghosts, and immortals. My goodness, lots of story material there. Janie is well accomplished. She's won prizes. Her books have been Globe and Mail national bestsellers. She's here tonight to tell us about The Phoenix Crown. It's a novel that Janie is co-authoring with Kate Quinn, and it released in February of this year. I love this quote, what Jamie Ford said about your book. He said, when 2 masters of historical fiction team up, it's like 1 + 1 = 1,000. So there's a lot more that we could say, and you'll have a chance to ask Janie in the breakout rooms more specifically about her book. It's amazing. We also have tonight Sally Hepworth. Hi, Sally, who we already
Hi,
have
everyone.
calling in from the future. So it's and
I
we
won't tell you what's going to happen. Don't
okay.
panic.
Well, but it is reassuring to know that there is going to be a tomorrow because you're in it right now.
I'm still here.
Yeah. Sally Hepworth is the New York Times bestselling author of 9 novels. Her most recent is Darling Girls. She's also the author of Uncharted Waters, published by Amazon Original Stories in 2022. Several of Sally's novels have been optioned for TV and film, and they're available around the globe in English and have been translated into over 20 languages. She has sold over 1 million books worldwide. That blows my mind. That's fantastic. Yes. And so Sally's newest is Darling Girls. It came out just this past April. And Bookpage wrote that Australia's finest thriller writers called you Australia's finest thriller writer since Lane Morty. Sally Hepworth has found the perfect combination of character-based drama and completely unpredictable plots. So I can't wait to find out more about this book in the breakout rooms.
Thank
We
you.
also have tonight Vanessa Miller. Hi, Vanessa.
Hello.
She's a best-selling author, a playwright, and a motivational speaker. Vanessa's novels have received rave reviews, with several appearing on Essence Magazine's bestseller list. Yay. Miller's work has received numerous awards, including Best Christian Fiction Mahogany Award and the Red Rose Award for Excellence in Christian Fiction. Her newest is The American Queen, and it came out just this past January. That's where you're supposed to hold the book up. Remember, I forgot to remind you all. That's it. This quote from Publishers Weekly, this will just give you a little taste. Miller captivates with a propulsive historical based on the true story of a group of formerly enslaved people who founded a utopian society in the Appalachian Mountains in the 1860s. Yes, this sounds so cool, and I can't wait to hear more about that in the breakout room as well. And lastly, but not leastly, we have Sara Paretsky. Sara revolutionized the mystery world in 1982 when she introduced V.I. Warshawski in Indemnity Only. Yeah, there's her newest. It's Pay Dirt. Pay Dirt is the 23rd novel in the V.I. Warshawski series, and it published just this past April. Booklist says Paretsky's phenomenal gifts for significant and riveting stories, lacerating dialogue, rich psychology, and barbed humor reach tornadic force. That's awesome. Sara has the thing that is that Sara has been so involved in the writing community. Not only did she write this wonderful series, but Sara created Sisters in Crime. Many of us are members of Sisters in Crime. Sara created Sisters in Crime. It's a worldwide organization to advocate for women crime writers. And this earned her Ms. Magazine's 1987 Woman of the Year award. So that's really awesome. She's won all kinds of other awards. But to bring her down to earth and see that she really is relatable, she says, like her fictional detective, Paretsky has an adored golden retriever. So, yay.
Yeah.
Not nearly as well behaved as VIs.
Well, that's the beauty of fiction, isn't it?
Right.
So we're just delighted to have you four wonderful authors with us tonight, and we look forward to getting to know you both now and in the breakout rooms. What we're going to do now, for folks who haven't been to the back room before, we're just going to do a little quick round of 20-ish questions. And we have, just so you can get to know the authors a little bit better, we have these official backroom cards. See, it says the back room when there's questions on the other side. So I'm just going to dive right in and ask the questions in the order that I see you on the screen, which, Janie, guess what? You're up first. So I'm going to ask you, what was your favorite book as a child?
Wuthering Heights, believe it or not.
Wow, that's awesome. Kind of explains how you ended up with historicals too.
It also explained why I ended up with so many bad relationships with men, you know. Heathcliff was not a good template.
That's
That's
a good
awesome.
explanation. That might be true for me too.
Do you remember how old you were? Like, were you reading way above your grade level?
I was 9 years old. My brother had gone off to university, so he left behind all of his, books from all of his classes. So reading Wuthering Heights at 9 years old is not a good idea.
I'd say it turned out quite well for you, but thank you. That's amazing. Vanessa, are you a dog person or a cat person?
I'm a dog person. As a matter of fact, I was a cat person when I was younger, but now I have a little doggy,
Nice. What's your dog's name?
Princess.
Oh, of course.
Oh.
Yeah. And
She,
Sara,
she's right here.
whenever
Whenever I'm in my office, she's right here by my feet.
I remember in the early days, we've been, Hank and I have been doing the back room for about 4 years now. In the early days, someone had their little dog and Zoom calls were new. And she says, I'm sorry if my dog barks and distracts, but whenever I'm on a Zoom call, she barks and then I have to feed her treats.
Yeah, they are smarter than we are.
She worked it out.
I know. Yeah. So, all right, Sara, here's a question for you. If you could eat only one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh God, that's such a tough choice, but probably cheese, because there are plenty of days when I have cheese for all 3 meals.
Ah, that's good.
I'm a cheese hound too, so I understand.
Me too.
Good
Yeah,
choice.
we have a chain of restaurants in the States called Popeyes, and they're famous for their chicken. And I ordered their mac and cheese as a side. Oh my goodness, it's like heart attack food, but it's so good. Yeah, I'm with you there. All right, Sally, what was your first job?
My first job was at a bakery. We were allowed to work here in Australia at 14 and 9 months, and I was desperate for a job. And so I went in on my birthday. So it wasn't my birthday, it was 14 and 9 months on the day, asked for a job, and then I started the next day. So I've always had a good work ethic.
I guess so. Nice.
And I got lots of cakes and, free
Yeah.
food. So I was no dummy.
That's awesome. Janie, what book do you think everyone should read?
This is the book that I have been pimping for the last 6 months. It's called Ithaca. It's a British author. Her name is Claire North. And I know there's been a surge of interest in retellings of Greek and Roman mythology. And this is the best one I have read. It's smart, it's funny, it's snarky funny. And basically, Odysseus goes off to the Trojan War with all his buddies. But what were the women doing back on the island of Ithaca, trying to run things? And it is, so you start off reading it and you just think this is so funny and it's a feminist retelling, but then you realize it's actually about geopolitics. So
Thank you so
I am
much.
pimping this.
Thank you. This is the fun part, getting introduced to new books. Vanessa, what book are you recommending tonight?
Shelterwood by Lisa Wingate. Lisa wrote the book Before We Were Yours. It was the #1 New York Times best-selling book a couple years ago. I want people to be able to see that, and my light is messing it up.
We're good.
This book is so good. I had the opportunity to read an arc of it. It comes out June the 4th. So next week, right? It releases. And this book, Lisa has this knack for writing stories about, hidden history that we never heard of, that, sometimes, horrifies us. But she has a knack of doing these stories that just also brings hope to the reader.
Sara, what book are you recommending?
Normally fiction is where I go, but right now I'm reading The Sisterhood, the secret history of women at the CIA. I started it because it's connected to my imaginary country, and I have a CIA agent who's on the run. But this book is riveting. It tells the story of the struggle that women had to undergo to actually get treated with respect at the agency. It was kind of an Animal House atmosphere there from day one. And women were denied access to professional career tracks, and they fought this, and they really proved themselves on the streets.
Thank you. It sounds riveting. Sounds wonderful. Appreciate that. Sally, what are you recommending tonight, that the book that you think everyone should read?
So we didn't discuss this, any of us, but there's a very strong theme going through about women and history, and like Janie said, what were the women doing? And so I'm recommending someone that does not need any help pushing her books, Kristen Hanna, The Women. Just another story about women in history. This one is about in the Vietnam War, the really untold story. I mean, not that much has really been told in a huge way about the Vietnam War, but my mum is a history teacher, and it's always been a passion of hers to talk about particularly women's stories, but untold stories, and the mental effect or the emotional effect of soldiers who were conscripted to war and then came back to people who were not happy with them, which was the first kind of time that this happened. And this book features a young woman who goes to Vietnam to be a nurse and then comes back to not a warm reception. And it's just a fantastic story about what women went through, and how it just got me thinking about how the world changes and how different that was from the previous, world wars. So it's just a fantastic book. Everyone, who's read anything by Kristen Hanna knows what a great story she tells, and also, like the others, highlights a piece of history that we needed to know more about, and particularly women's stories, which is what we're all talking about today.
Wasn't that fun? We hope you enjoyed this taste of what a backroom event is like. The best part comes immediately after, when the audience is divided into 4 breakout rooms and the authors visit each room in turn. We'd love to show you what a breakout session is like, because these relaxed face-to-face conversations between authors and readers are the hallmark of our backroom events.
But breakout sessions are never recorded. What's said in the back room stays in the back room.